Hello everyone, I'm Yuki. Today I'm glad to talk about the topic of my research paper, which is about the effect of technology on the difficulty of communication in a relationship. Well, when I was choosing two short stories that we read for this semester and brainstorming the similarities between different stories, I realized that both Night Driver and A Temporary Matter are about romantic relationships, although they use quite different approaches to depict such a relationship. Therefore, I started to think about what are some similarities that both these stories have in common to develop my thesis, and I realized how technology plays a significant role in both articles. Therefore, this is my thesis statement. Both short story Night Driver by Italo Calvino and A Temporary Matter by John Paul Lowry use the presence and absence of technology to explore the technology's impact on the romantic relationship, specifically on the aspect of difficulty of communication. Well, in here, we can see how the two primary texts that will be discussed in this research paper is A Temporary Matter by John Paul Lowry and The Night Driver by Italo Calvino. Well, Temporary Matter talks about how a young couple's relationship was breaking apart because of the loss of their first child and how a temporary out of electricity make a shift in their relationship. For the story Night Driver, it talks about a man who had a fight with his girlfriend on the phone and went through a stream of thought and imagination in his night driving to find his girlfriend and talk to her face to face. My three main supporting theses is here. The first one is the presence of technology reduces face-to-face communication between a romantic partner. Well, in the temporary matter, we can see that when the light is on, the couples actually start to avoid each other, and the Night Driver, when they are on the phone, which is kind of technology, they are avoiding face-to-face communication. Well, on the contrary, when technology is not there, it actually provides more opportunity for the people to communicate. When the temporary matter, when the electricity is out, the couples actually start to sit down and talk to each other in a deeper level, even sharing something that they are afraid to mention in their daily life. When the Night Driver, when they're not on the phone, the protagonist actually drive to gain the opportunity to talk to his girlfriend face to face. It actually increases the opportunity for them to communicate. However, to the end, we can also see how it's kind of impossible to get rid of the effects of technology during their relationship. Well, in the temporary matter, when the electricity will finally back, their relationship will just come back to normal. Well, in the Night Driver, although the protagonist is not on the phone, the technology is still affecting him. Even he is driving the car, which is another kind of technology, and the actual communication does not happen throughout the passage. Well, from this argument, we can draw a wider implication, which is that the core reason for their breaking relationship is actually not because of technology. For A Temporary Matter, it's more about their inability to confront the cruelty of loss of child. Well, in The Night Driver, it's more about protagonist obsession with imagination and focus on people outside of their relationship. Therefore, we can see how technology is actually just a neutral tool that can be used by people, and it depends on how people are using it. Well, I think because in the world we actually cannot escape the influence of technology, maybe a better strategy to use is to find a way to coexist with the technology, even using technology to improve our relationship in the reality. I find several secondary resources to support my argument. One is reading John Paul Lowry, Woman, Domesticity, and Indian American Diaspora. So here it actually talks about a motif, which is house, that are actually happening in the temporary matter because all the story are happened in their apartment. It talks about how the confined space will actually cause alienation in a lot of areas. In the second, another source, American Spaces and the Fiction of John Paul Lowry, talks about how space, whether house, whether car, have an emotional impact on people. Well, the final secondary source is the psychological conflict in John Paul Lowry's namesake. It focused specifically on John Paul Lowry's another short story, but I think it also can draw a reference to A Temporary Matter because how both of them talks about the emotional internal conflict between the characters. Although I did not finish all of these sources reading, but I think it will definitely help me to improve my argument. And I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I'm looking forward to your feedback of how I can improve on my research paper. And here's my works cited page. And